Okay. Wave to the camera. Okay. So Nehemiah, what we are going to work on today is a writing lesson. So you and I have been doing a lot of discussing details and how we can make our stories so much more exciting for the reader and really paint that picture in their brain so that they know what's going on and understand what your purpose as an author is. So that is exactly what we're going to work on today. Today we're going to work on a strategy that's called show, don't tell. Have you ever heard of that strategy before when you're writing? Okay, so what that means is when we're writing, we don't want to just write sentences that are simple and aren't painting a picture in our reader's mind. We want to use adjectives and action words that make them feel like they're there and that they could picture it. Okay, so what I want to do first is show you what that means. Okay, so this is a little poster describing show not tell. All right, so it says, in a land far, far away, we show not tell feelings. So here's an example of when a character feels petrified. Do you know what petrified means? No. Okay, so petrified means like terrified, really, really, really scared. Okay, so instead of just telling us his face looked petrified, what we can do instead is show the reader by describing what the face looks like. His eyebrows crunched down and his teeth chattered, right? Can't you picture that? And doesn't that make it a little bit more exciting than just saying his face looked terrified? Yeah? Okay. So, and then another way is, instead of just writing, he was petrified, we could describe what his body language is doing. His body was shaking and he pulled his arms close. Okay, and then we could also describe how the character's voice is changing if they're feeling petrified. So once again, instead of telling and saying his voice sounded petrified, we can describe his voice. We can show the reader, saying he spoke in a slow, crackly voice. Do you see the difference? This is almost the section that's like wah, wah, wah. And then this is the section like ta-da, exciting, makes the reader want to read more. Okay? So, we are going to work together and we're going to try to do some show not tell with just some very simple sentences. We're going to take these simple sentences and we're going to turn them into exciting sentences so that the reader can visualize it. Okay? So we're going to start by using a visualization chart. Do you know what it means to visualize something?
Picture?
Exactly. It's so, have you ever read a book and there were no pictures in the book, just words, and you were able to like picture what the characters looked like and what they were doing and almost make a movie in your mind?
Yeah.
So the way that we can do that as readers, when we're writing, we want to do that for our audience. Okay, so that's the whole reason why we're doing this today, is to become better writers and add more details to make our stories exciting and able to be visualized by our audience. Okay, so here's the original sentence that we're going to work with, and we're just going to start with this one. The pizza was delicious. Okay, so all right, that's an okay sentence, right? It is describing the pizza, but I think that we can make a sentence much better than that. So for example, I could say, the sizzling hot pizza had mozzarella cheese, sausage, peppers. I took a bite and it was delicious. Okay? Instead of just saying the pizza was delicious, right? I could describe what it looks like. I could describe what it smells like, what it tasted like. I could add my sensory, all those sensory details, adjectives to describe the pizza, okay? And then even a little bit of action in there. So what I want you to do now is, I want you to draw a picture describing this original sentence, the pizza was delicious. I want you to just draw what you picture. Then you and I are going to work together, and we're going to write a sentence that is showing how delicious the pizza is, not just telling. And then we're going to draw another picture. So when we say the pizza was delicious, what do you picture?
A pizza?
Okay.
Wait.
That's okay. It doesn't have to be a complete work of art, but just do your best. However you, just make sure that you're showing me what you visualize.
Can there be something inside the pizza?
Whatever you're picturing, if it's saying that the pizza was delicious.
First vowel does the talking, and 16, then the second vowel does the talking.
Perfect. Okay, so let's read our first line again.
The seal and the seed says deep, deep,
So do you think,
deep,
why do you think we did this by next letters and numbers?
deep, deep, deep,
What made it easier?
deep, deep.
All those.
Pizza.
Okay.
Figuring out what the
Excellent. And you can just take another 30 seconds to add any more details that you would like.
the seal and the seed.
Excellent. All right, so that pizza does look delicious. So now let's take this sentence, the pizza was delicious, and let's enhance it by showing our reader how delicious that pizza is, not just saying it. So instead of even using this word delicious, can't we describe the pizza? So close your eyes right now, and let's picture a delicious pizza coming out of the oven. What does it look like? What does it smell like? How is that pizza going to taste? So really picture it. And once you're ready, I want you to write a sentence, the first sentence that came to your mind that can describe it. Instead of just telling us, show us how delicious it is.
Okay. Where do you see some vowels? It is the ability to read
Okay?
like you're talking.
Go for it.
Because when you read,
You're going to write the sentence now. So see how this was the original sentence? We're going to take it to the next level. And we're going to show how delicious it was instead of just tell. Start with the capital, ending with the period.
exactly, but do you want your reading to sound like a robot? No, we want it to sound like it does when you have a conversation. So that's why you need to work on phrasing. Okay, chunking words together. So it sounds like you're having, like you're talking, not like you're sounding. Okay? So look here. Samantha drove to the store to buy milk and eggs. Okay, where do we see that? That is called a swoop. And those are there, so that way you know what to do, or how to put the word into a chunk. Okay, we're gonna do a couple like that where it has that together. And then you're gonna work on trying to put the chunks together yourself. So you're doing some work. Okay? And then I'll let you read word phrases rather than one word at a time. Okay?
And then don't forget to actually describe that pizza too. And then we can draw a picture of that delicious pizza.
Set the words together rather than saying Samantha drove to the store. Samantha drove to the store to buy some milk and eggs. Doesn't that just sound better? That's how you want to sound. Okay? So here is, yeah, so that way I can do it. Number 2. So, before you go, this one has the sleeps already there for you. Okay? So we're going to practice reading these 3 words together.
Okay. So, can you read me the sentences that you wrote? And I love how you wrote more than one sentence too.
The pizza was so good. The store was packed. The pizza was so steaming hot. It was so juicy.
Okay. So, how do you think you did? Do you think that you changed this original sentence and helped me as the reader picture what that pizza did, what that pizza tasted like, what it smelled like? Did you show me instead of tell me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think you did your job? I agree. Now, what I loved what you did here is you actually made me picture, because now I'm not only just picturing this delicious pizza, you took it to the next level, and I can picture the pizzeria with like a line out the door, and then I can picture this steaming, juicy pizza coming out of the oven. Okay? I want you to just do a quick picture of your showing of that original sentence. Okay, so you added on here. Yes. So now even your picture is more developed, right? So I want to just go through these sentences, and I want to show you, some of the excellent techniques that you just used that we're going to continue to use today in this whole activity. So the pizza's so good the store was packed. Okay, so that word that's describing the pizzeria, that really makes me visualize. Okay, also when you said the pizza was steaming and juicy, also words that helped me visualize it. Instead of just saying delicious, well, what does that mean? That might be something different for everybody. But I can picture this packed pizzeria and steaming juicy slice. Okay, so excellent job. Give yourself a little pat on the back. So far, so good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to take a look at an author, Vera B. Williams, who wrote A Chair for My Mother. Have you ever read the story?
Yeah.
You have? You're familiar with it? Excellent. And this author does such a great job of showing details instead of just telling us. So it's always important for us as readers and writers to learn from other authors who have published books, right? Because they can almost be like another teacher for us. So let's take a look. So here's A Chair for My Mother by Vera B. Williams. Okay? So if you're familiar with the story, you know that the premise of it is we have a little girl who lives with her mom, right? And her mom works at a restaurant. And the mom works so hard to help them, buy things. They really have trouble affording nice things in their home, and they work very hard. And I want to just kind of take you through a picture walk in here. So we know that the mother works as a waitress in the blue tiled diner, okay? And the little girl goes in and also helps the mom at the restaurant sometimes. And every time they get paid, they save their money in this jar, right? So look at the jar. What do you think about that jar so far?
Good.
Good. It's a start, right? And where do you think they want to take that jar?
To like go buy stuff.
Right, so they want to fill that jar so that they can buy nice things for their home. So do you think it's going to take them a while to do that?
Yes.
Probably, right? Because it looks a little bit empty right now. But it looks like they're going to be adding to it. So let's just read a few pages just to get our brains ready, okay? So it takes a long time to fill a jar this big. Every day when my mother comes home from work, I take down the jar. My mama empties all her change from tips out of her purse for me to count. Then we push all the coins into the jar. Sometimes my mama is laughing when she comes home from work. Sometimes she's so tired, she falls asleep while I count the money out into piles. Some days she has lots of tips. Some days she has only a little. Then she looks worried. But each evening, every single shiny coin goes into the jar. So why do you think on certain nights she looks worried?
Because one day she might not be able to pay the rent for her house.
Right, okay, so this money has to go towards something, right? So, and she's saying on certain days she might not make as good a tips as other days, and those are the days that she looks worried. All right, so let's just keep going through, because what we're going to do is we're going to get to a point in this story where I'm not going to show you the picture. I'm just going to read you the words. And the author does an amazing job of using details to help the reader picture it by showing, not telling. And what I'm going to have you do is, as I read that page, I'm going to have you illustrate what you're picturing in your head. And then we're going to go through and talk about some of those words that really helped us visualize. Okay? All right, so here she is counting all the change.